Hey guys, Core Ross and welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Today we're looking at some myths for the Steel Wave season that I consider to be very close to either being bugs or features of the new season, and I would love to know what you guys think of these in the comments below, because to me they're right on the edge. I'm going to be submitting all of them to Rainbow Six Fix so the developers can take a look at them and see if they actually fix them or not, because some of them might be features and some of them might be bugs. Fuse's cluster charge no longer has shrapnel damage. So in the last season of Rainbow Six Siege, the shrapnel mechanic was added in to explosives. Now this kind of adds a little bit of realism, but it's also a little bit quirky. Me and Rogue9 did videos on this new system, and one of the operators that was most affected by this new system was Fuse, because of course he has a lot of explosives. Now this meant that you could end up getting more kills, but also more team kills, or even killing yourself. And this is because the explosives throw off shrapnel that if a player is nearby, they will be hit by that shrapnel. So a lot of times if you go into like a roof hatch in Rainbow Six Siege on the live game right now, put down a fuse charge and set it off, there's a good chance you'll actually blow yourself up. So in order to test this, I actually needed to come up with a new testing methodology for this so that I could make the fuse charge repeatable in both the live servers and the test servers in order for me to make it exactly the same. So what we've got here is 5 magnets set up, with one of them being close, and of course a cluster charge has 5 grenades. So it's going to pull away 4 of them, and it's going to bring one close enough to shrapnel damage range for Wamai here to get wounded by the shrapnel. So this is live servers right now as Fuse currently is, and he has been for this entire season. You can see that the explosion set off shrapnel which went through the wall and hurt me. Now this is the test server for Steel Wave. Exactly the same setup. We've got Wamai, we've got our grenades, but this time we'll do a different perspective. We'll look from Fuse's point of view. We can see we've got 1 magnet set up. This should, just like the live servers, set off some shrapnel, and we've got the other 4 for capturing the rest of the grenades. So we're going to set up the charge, going to see this go through, all the grenades get captured, 1 goes off right next to Wamai, no shrapnel damage whatsoever. Now this could be a bug or this could be a feature. I'm leaning more towards this being a feature because it seems more reasonable. They're making Fuse more consistent. And I also went in and checked other explosives, and as far as I can tell, they are exactly the same as live. So nitro cells send off shrapnel and stuff like that, and that's both the case for the test server and the live server. So all that seems to be correct. And it only seems to be Fuse that's affected, which again makes me lean more towards this being a deliberate change. And then in the final test, what I've done is I've set up magnets dangerously close to the wall this time. So these are just outside the range of actually making the spherical holes that you can see when explosives go off next to a wall. So if there's going to be any shrapnel, if maybe they've reduced the range of it or something like that, then this should be making shrapnel impacts, because they are dangerously close to the other side of the wall. There should be some sort of damage coming through, and there's nothing. No damage to the wall whatsoever. So they've definitely taken off. Whether it's a bug or whether it's a feature, you guys let me know in the comments below. But that is confirmed. There is no longer any shrapnel damage on cluster charges for now. Now the next myth comes from a viewer, and it's a really good myth. What happens if Wamai's magnet grabs Ace's gadget, but then you actually destroy the magnet before the gadget arrives? So obviously my assumption at the time would be that's interesting, because I would assume that it's just going to drop to the ground, Ace can pick it up and reuse it. But my whole series is based around checking to see if these assumptions are correct. So let's take a look at this. So we've got the setup here with Wamai having his gadget out. Ace is going to throw his gadget in, and of course it gets captured. Wamai is nice enough to take it out for us, and to my surprise, Ace's gadget gets just completely destroyed. Now we'll do it again. We'll let the Ace gadget actually get closer to the magnet this time before we take it out. And as you can see, it gets destroyed again. Now let's change the actual perspective, because from this perspective it might look like Wamai is potentially shooting at Ace's gadget and destroying it. So what we'll do is we'll throw it from behind him while he takes out the magnet. And you can see that, yeah, the magnet gets destroyed and Ace's gadget just explodes into multiple pieces. So that was a really big surprise to me, but certainly it's busted. It doesn't save the gadget from being destroyed. Now we're moving on to some in-depth testing when it comes to the Banshees and their detection of attackers. So what we've got here is a setup of different size holes, and we've got Mavericks standing behind them. Now you're going to notice that Maverick is kind of having a bit of a fit back here, and it's because the effect of the Banshee actually changes his animation. It changes how he stands, so he's actually getting pushed out of the line of sight of the Banshee, and then of course he's standing up normally again, getting pushed back in, and this is happening over and over again. So it looks like he's having a bit of a fit, or maybe he has just been listening to this thing too damn long and he's really going nuts here. But as we can see, that one is definitely detecting his head and easily able to go off. So for sure, head is able to be detected by the Banshees and activated. Now if we actually move over to here, we can see that we've kind of got two of them intermittently actually detecting him there, and as such the other one isn't. Even though the other one, as you can see, looks to clearly have a shot of his shoulder, but it's not going off, whereas the other two have kind of clear shots of maybe the head and the top of the upper body. So I thought, let's move him over to the next hole and see what happens here. So we move him over, and this shows off his belly to the Banshees. The interesting thing is, two of the Banshees see him, and the third one doesn't. Now the third one has the best view of his belly, but it's not going off, and I don't actually know why. It's a little bit confusing. Whereas the other two are both seeing him at kind of more maybe the legs. So this one's a little bit weird, and as such quite surprising. Then we've got the lowest one here, which is just the feet. We're just going to move this Banshee down to a low level because I want to see if this is going to go off on just the legs alone, or at least just the feet. So as we can see here, it is seeing the feet, but it is not detecting them. We want to do some more tests. And let's start these tests with a myth. Can the Banshee actually affect you through a single bullet hole? So I marked the Banshee on the other side and I shot directly to it. And as you can see, it is affecting me through a single bullet hole. Now I couldn't get it to be consistent, but it's certainly having an effect through a single bullet hole. It is definitely not worth using in game, but for sure that is going through a single bullet hole and actually affecting my character. Although, like I say, it's pretty rubbish. Now, what we have here is Melusi placing the gadget on the floor, and we've obviously got the destroyed wall on our side that we can go check, just to see how this works when it comes to the legs and feet. And as you can see here, it's not slowing me down. It's just on our side of the wall. It has a clear line of sight off my legs. If I crouch, it does slow me down. So like I say, when it comes to more advanced setups for the Banshee and covering different areas, you know, maybe having your Banshee behind soft walls and looking into like corridors and stuff like that, you do want to be a little bit more liberal with the destruction you do to open up those sight lines. Otherwise, it might be a little bit either intermittent or it won't actually slow the attackers down at all. So make sure you're covering those kind of aspects. But certainly it's confirmed that you can affect people with the Banshee through a single bullet hole, although it's not practical. And you can also not affect people from just their feet and possibly also their legs as well. And that when you're setting up your Banshees, you want to go for holes that are going to at least see the upper body or head to be much more sure that they're actually going to get slowed down. Now we've got a Quirky Mess. This is just me messing around in game because of course I'm testing all this stuff and playing around with things and seeing what I can do. And in the last episode of Mythbusters for Ace, we showed how you can put a Ace charge on a reinforced wall sideways in order to make a smaller hole to get through, which could be useful to you in the future, perhaps. We'll have to see. But I was kind of wondering, can you do the same thing with a soft wall? Because soft walls have wooden beams in the middle, so if I could attach it to the side of a wooden beam, then surely I could actually then open that wall up sideways and make a smaller hole. Although I doubt it would be useful, it'd be kind of cool to see if it could be done, just because it does open up different options for how to use the gadget. But what I was surprised by was that actually apparently just wooden beams by themselves completely stop Ace's gadget. They don't go off. You can also actually detonate Ace's gadget inside the wall, which doesn't matter either, but certainly it kind of looks cool, the fact that it just kind of disappears and then you don't see it and then it starts busting the wall apart. Either way, it was a quirky myth. Well, it's not even a myth, it's just quirky in itself. And certainly it's confirmed apparently just the wooden beams by themselves do stop Ace's charge going off, even though it has been placed on a destructible surface. it doesn't go off. So there we go, guys. That is all the myths I have for you today with the new things that I've discovered while playing the test server for Steel Wave. Let me know which one of these you think is a bug and should be fixed, because to me, the one where the magnet gets destroyed and the Ace charge actually gets blown up is totally a bug. I think that thing should fall to the ground. Ace should be able to pick it up and reuse it. And it's also tactically doable. There's definitely the cases where you'll have enough time to shoot the magnet before it grabs it, and I totally think you should have the opportunity to save it. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what your opinion on all these in the comments below. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.